And there we go. End of Gears 1 again. I swear, I keep coming back to these games. The gameplay itself is not very good. I mean, if you look at it from a gameplay perspective, you're just going up to a corridor, taking cover, shooting, and that's pretty much it. There's nothing to the gameplay besides that. But I don't think anyone really plays the game for the gameplay. I mean, there probably is a couple people. The story and atmosphere that this game provides, the destroyed city, a unrelenting enemy, the backstories that the characters themselves have is there's so much depth between everything. And I like that they constantly cover on it. Like, just this loading screen, or the menu screen, I guess, is a perfect example. It shows the House of Sovereigns, right? And they touched on it in Gears 4. You know, how that van got there with, it was Colonel Hoffman's caravan, or whatever you want to call it. They crashed, you get the hammer, and then you have to, hold out in front of the house, as Lieutenant Kim, Colonel Hoffman, and Anya attempt to escape. Guess I should say spoiler alert, but it's a bit late for that. But just the atmosphere that it gives looking at it, you see the war-torn building. You got to see for what it used to be. It was probably a booming metropolis with hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of civilians roaming the streets every day. And now it's definitely not that. It's post-apocalyptic. Got hordes of an enemy that seems to just never stop, roaming the streets, roaming the highways, roaming the forests, roaming everywhere. And in their eyes, from Gears 1 and 2, they just seem like mindless drones, just doing whatever mindless drones would do. They're just there to kill. Gears 3 kind of touched on the Locust backstory a little bit. Gears 2 kind of did in some ways. Gears 2 had the best campaign, though. It touched on a lot of the historical and ceremonial stuff that the Locusts go through, but it never really touched on why they went to the surface. I mean, it kind of inferred it, but if you weren't paying attention and you just thought, oh, gun, shoot, kill things, then you wouldn't really pay attention. But if you watch the story and you actually pay attention to it, there's so much depth that the creators of this game series put into it. It's like they were thinking that they were going to make 6 games, probably up to 3, before they actually did. I just hope in the future Gear 6 isn't a train wreck. Judgment was, which was a little bit of a spin-off, was not a good game, in my opinion. It didn't play like a Gears of War. Sure, you had the corridor and take cover and shoot, but it didn't play like one. It had those, I don't even remember what they were called, where you would go up to a wall when it had that Crimson Omen symbol. You would, you know, make an alternate truth or whatever it was. And then it, had like the stars for each campaign that you had to do, and that was in the standard campaign. I don't even remember if they had an arcade version, but it just seemed like an arcade version in Gears 3. It just, it didn't fit. Then the weapon switching was weird. Just everything about Gears Judgment was just off. Sure, it gave backstory, and sure, it was interesting story wise, but gameplay wise, it was so bad. Moving on to Gears 4. I don't have anything bad to say about Gears 4. I like the direction they went. The only issue I would have with it is the robot army. I did not enjoy the first, Act 1 and Act 2 of the campaign? Or was it just Act 1, where you had to deal with all the robots hunting you? It just, if you're talking about not feeling like a Gears game, again, that did not feel like a Gears game. It felt, it was on the Gears platform, but it was not a Gears game. Didn't have the Locust until you came across them in later parts. But they weren't really the Locust. But I won't talk about any of that. I don't want to spoil too much of anything. Then we go on to Gears 5. How should I touch on Gears 5? In my opinion, this is all my opinion, by the way, everybody else is entitled to their own. The campaign wasn't bad, but they advertised two parts of the campaign as a open world free roam. While technically that's true, there is no point in doing that free roam. Sure, you can get parts for Jack and upgrades for Jack. It's usually all for Jack, really. But there's no benefit to doing it. Of course, you have the hidden weapons too. I forget what they're called though. Yeah, I can't remember what they're called. Like rustic weapons or whatever they are. Which are, some are very unique and actually useful, some are just complete useless trash. Relic weapons, that's what they're called. I think. Pretty sure. But again, that whole open world thing just added so much time to the campaign that, in my opinion, it was only good enough for, I think I've only played it twice. Because I can't bring myself to want to play that campaign over and over again. The Ultimate Edition of Gears of War, I think I've beaten 3 times. The original Gears of War, I've beaten co-op, single player, on every single difficulty there is, multiple times. Um, and same with Gears 2 and Gears 3. Gears 4, I've played I think 4 or 5 times. I think I'm doing actually a playthrough on Insane right now, and I'm actually stuck in a certain part, but again, we won't get into that. But Gears 5, I have so many issues with it. It's a good game. The campaign story is great. I love the direction they took it. But gameplay wise, with those 2 sections that they advertised as a open world, using air quotations here, open world segment, it was a cool concept. It could have been done so much better. I don't know if they were limited in what they had to produce or what. But I don't have anything bad to say about the story. The story itself was amazing. The atmosphere, amazing. The whole dust storms, the um, dealing with the swarm, dealing with just everything that you had to deal with in Gears 5. It was amazing. I don't think there was ever a part in that campaign where I was like, oh, this is so annoying. I wish I didn't have to do this. This is so stupid. But there's monotonous parts in Gears 2 that I wish I didn't have to do. Like the Riftworm thing. Gears 3, there's certain parts of that I wish I didn't have to do. Um, and then, of course, Gears of War 1, I voiced my opinion in multiple parts that I just don't like. I'm not really a big fan of the opening segment where you're in the prison. I'm not really a big fan of the where you go into the House of Sovereigns. I'm not really. I mean, there's multiple points I'm just not a big fan of, and it's the locations. It's not gameplay wise, it's just the locations. The game looks amazing. It plays meh if you get past all the bugs where you get stuck and whatnot. And you can almost feel the history in each building that you go into. But the issue I have is I play at a more longer range, and that's how I like to keep the enemies. I don't really like going in close range. That's why you saw me use the sniper rifle a lot, as I prefer snipers. I prefer medium range assault rifles. I just don't do close range. Shotguns are okay, especially in Gears of War. The Gnasher is probably one of the most competitive weapons you can use in multiplayer. But like I said earlier, in single player, it lacks for me anyway. So anyway, I feel like I have talked your guys' ear off for far too long. I hope you all enjoyed this playthrough. If you want to see anything else from me playing this game or Gears 4 or 5, unfortunately I don't have the ability to play 2 or 3 and stream it. Let's see. I think I don't have 2 cog tags, but I have all the others. So I could do either a video or I could stream where I complete the campaign on Insane. Not the whole campaign, since I just did a walkthrough on Hardcore. and maybe I could pick up those extra tags along the way. I actually completely forgot about them. It looks like they're in, what was that, Act 2, 3, 4, 5, so Act 4 and 5. Yeah, probably Act 4 and 5. So I'll have to see if I can figure out which one that I'm missing from each one and go grab those, maybe record them, and show you guys where those are. Since I picked up the other ones, I can't do a walkthrough on the others, but you know. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you for watching. Stay safe out there, and I'll catch you later.